Hey there, Fredchenk here with a quick overview over our plugin WP-FB Pixel. And so you best understand how this works, I'll quickly start with a very brief look at the Facebook side of things so you understand how things interact between Facebook and the plugin. So on Facebook, as you hopefully know, you have a pixel, and with that pixel you can do two things. Either you create an audience, so for example over here we've got website audiences, so that's people who visited certain links on my website and then they are put into a particular audience, which you can then use for retargeting, etc. And the other thing you can do is you can use conversions, meaning, for example, if you have a thank you page when someone signs up, or you have a sales page or a webinar registration page, any of these things, typically thank you pages for some kind of transaction, you can then track who converted, so you can do all kinds of things like targeted follow-up or measure which ads work best, or of course create lookalike audiences so you can then target those people. Now, in general, what you quickly find when you do marketing, there is a lot of, although Facebook's algorithm is quite good, it's not that good. So you end up with a lot of people who are not your ideal target audience. So especially when you're doing things like, very targeted follow-up, which is kind of time intensive or cost intensive or resource intensive in some sort. So for example, you have a longer lead cycle and you want to follow up one by one and phoning up people, that kind of thing. You want to know who are the truly engaged prospects and who are the ones who are just drive-by watchers, if you like. And that's exactly where the pixel comes in. So with this in mind, that we can create two types of things, namely the audiences and the conversions, let's look over to our site, where I'm going to show you a couple of things right now. I'm going to show you first how this works, and then in two separate videos I'm going to show you how to set these things up. So the first thing we need to look at is basically underneath any page or post, what you've got here is you can add your pixel. And I'm going to show you how to set this up in a second. I just want to show you now the connection to Facebook. So when you enable the Facebook pixel, like so, what you'll see is you can, first of all, select an event. So if you would like to have a conversion event to happen on this page, you can select one of the standard events for this particular page. So anyone who visits this particular page or post, if they meet the following criteria, and you set up the criteria as, do they stay on the page for a certain amount of time, do they scroll, do they click a link, do they watch a video for a certain amount of time, if that is met, then you can choose to fire that event. For example, and that is then enabled here. And I'll show you all the details of how to set this up later on. The same goes for the page view content event. If you want someone to be added to a page because you think they're genuinely interested, then you can say, anyone who stays on my page for at least 10-15 seconds, scrolls at least 15%, and or clicks on a certain link, then I know they're interested in my content, and then I'm going to enable this, and they are now added to that particular custom audience. And I think this is probably the best illustration of where the true value of this plugin lies. You always have visitors to your site who accidentally land there. They accidentally, because they were bored, clicked on your ad in Facebook, or some search engine sent them there, and they just went, wrong page, and they disappear within 1, 2, 3 seconds. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid, because first of all, it is time intensive, resource intensive to do targeted follow-up, and the more you can hone in on your ideal audience, the better your ads will perform, and that of course lowers your cost per click, etc., etc. Plus, you're also helping Facebook find great lookalike audiences, because the moment you have only people who are really interested and really take action, well, if Facebook now starts building lookalike audiences based on these people who are truly engaged, of course you're getting overall better results. So the big picture, what you can do is you can basically say, if these conditions are met, then I would like to have a page view event, meaning they added to a custom audience, or you can fire the conversion event, so some kind of a conversion takes place. Now, the other big thing which we've added in our plugin is you can do lead scoring. So the standard sequence of things would be, someone is added to a custom audience if they spend some time on a page. Now, that may or may not be true, but again, that could be drive-by viewers, if you like. Sometimes you have a situation where you have longer lead cycles, longer sales cycles, and you want to figure out, well, does someone repeatedly watch my pages? Does someone repeatedly click on various links I've put in there? Does someone watch pages and spend a lot of time, consume the content, etc., etc., etc.? So I'll give you one specific example. If, for example, you want to sell a continuity program, something that leads to recurring charges every single month, that is very, very, very hard to do with cold traffic. Cold in the sense of someone is not familiar with your work. So you're basically wasting your time. At best, at worst, you're alienating them. Whereas if you have someone who's very familiar with their work, and you can test, you can track this with the lead scoring, you can say, well, they've clicked on at least 5 different pages, and they've consumed at least 3 of my videos, and they've clicked at least on 10 links. But if you now put a continuity offer in front of them, you have a much higher chance of them converting, simply because you know that they are familiar with your content. And as a result, if you put out good content, of course, they should know, like, and trust you. And that's why this is where the second part comes in, the lead scoring. You basically want to figure out, okay, is someone really familiar with my content? Are they really engaged? I mean, really and truly. And as a result, do they know, like, and trust me? And if so, I can now follow up with the right kind of offers. Then is the right time to put in a continuity offer. Then is the right time to offer a coaching program. Then is the right time to do some high ticket stuff. If people are cold to you, it's like the other example would be if someone is completely new to your world, they've never seen you, they haven't seen your work. I know it is understandable. You want to impress them. You want to show them that you've got the goods. You want to show them high quality content. And the big problem there is a lot of people then over deliver in the sense of, oh, I'll give you 1 hour video of my best stuff. Well, someone who's not familiar with this stuff, they don't want to invest an hour of their time just yet. For them, it's much better to follow up with a small snippet, a PDF there, where they can see for themselves very quickly, this is good stuff. And that's precisely where lead scoring comes in. So if you know someone is very new to your world, you follow up with something snappy, short, quick, so they can see, okay, this is cool stuff. Whereas if someone has been in your world for quite some time, then you go deeper. Then you have a real relationship. So anyway, big picture, underneath your posts and pages, you enable this thing, and then you set up all kinds of conditions for a page view event or a conversion event to fire, and optionally start some lead scoring. But the lead scoring it's not super complex, but there are some moving parts, so I'll explain that in a separate video. I will also explain this part here of how to set that up in a separate video. What I'm going to do now for the next minute or so is show you what else we can do in our or in the rest of this pixel. So there are 2 more things. The dashboard, let's just click on it so you can see the dashboard. In the dashboard, you basically see the different events that can be used and on which pages they're being used. And then you can do all kinds of things. But this is on a per page situation. So if, for example, the view content is used on several different, as you can see, I've used this on many, many different pages because it's all about viewing content and I want to track these different events. When you delete and show code, etc., it's on the page you select here. So if I now go to Ruab to the rescue, show code will be different from this one over here. That's why I encourage you, when you go to the dashboard, go and watch the video here. You click on the question mark, a video will pop up and it'll explain exactly how to use the dashboard. The other thing is when we go down here, the settings, right? In the settings, you absolutely must go in and set your pixel ID at the very top, because that's the pixel ID that then connects to your Facebook account. And what you can do is in here, these conversion events, which are basically the standard conversion events, you can give them aliases. And you may want to use this if, for example, you want to use different conversion events for different types of products you're using, or when you have a webinar funnel for different events or actions where things happen. So, for example, you have a webinar where people sign up, then they show up, and then they buy. Now, these are 3 things you could put into target audiences, in website audiences, but there is a reason why you might want to use conversion events, because this will tell you who actually converts, and you can build nice lookalike audiences based on those checkout pixels. So when you know I've got now a great audience that totally converts on my webinar and buys my stuff, well, you should definitely go out and build a retargeting or a lookalike audience so you can target that lookalike audience. And for that, for the different stages within your funnel, you might want to use different pixels here. In the beginning, most people don't even need to do this, but if you want to, you can then, for example, you have a webinar funnel, you could call this one here, whatever, sign up to webinar, and you call this show up to webinar, and this one actually buy my course. And then when you go back to your page or the post, you can now select the pixel not by this name over here, but this one. So it's immediately obvious to you which one it is. And then you go to the bottom here, you save changes, and you're done. So that's it for this first video, the overview video. The one thing you absolutely must do is you go to the settings and you set up your Facebook pixel. But then the rest is basically it was more of a philosophy video. Now we're going to go into the next two videos. One is how to set up the lead scoring, and then the other one is how to set up those conditions on the page so you can figure out when people should really be added to your website audience, your conversion, and or the lead scoring. Alrighty, see you in a sec.